I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay today, Sean.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Why is it okay? Because the Blue Jays won?
Yeah, because the Blue Jays won.
It bothers you that
Campbell,
much?
like I have so much to say about the Blue Jays run today.
Yeah.
I really do. And I know you feel some of the things I feel, but you're not as vocal about it as I am.
No, it's because you are a Yankees fan and you have an ingrained hatred towards them.
But this goes beyond the Yankee stuff. Put the Yankee stuff behind us because, to be very honest with you, I don't feel like the Blue Jays are exactly a natural rival of the Blue Jays. I don't feel like people in New York care that much about the Toronto Blue Jays. Their rival is the Boston Red Sox, and pretty much everybody else is secondary. So the hatred for the Blue Jays or the dislike for the Blue Jays doesn't really come from my love for the Yankees. My hatred for the Blue Jays comes from my love of the Expos. And it's not even that the Expos and Blue Jays were rivals. And it's not even that I'm not over the... Well, actually, it's a little bit that I'm not over the Expos moving to Washington.
Dude, get over it. It's been over 20 years.
I know. But, well, Campbell, somebody very close to you dies. You never completely get over it. You know, for anybody who's lost somebody close to them, you never get over it. You move on. You move on with your life, and you try to remember the good times, but you never completely get over it. But I was thinking about this a lot this morning driving in. Why I feel the way I do about the Blue Jays, and there's a bunch of reasons. There's a bunch of reasons, and I'm going to tell you the two that I was thinking about most. And we could talk about how obnoxious some of the bandwagon fans have been with me. On the text board and social media, and
you've been asking for it.
And my friends that just
you were getting mad at me the other day.
Yeah, because I knew you were just trying to goad me into anger. But I have friends that were asking me when the Blue Jays were down 2-0 in the series and 2-0 in Game 3 if they could forfeit the rest of the series, and now they believed all along. They never doubted this team, right? So that stuff kind of annoys me. But the two things, Campbell.
Why do you let other people annoy you? That's where your problem is.
Yeah.
What's annoying you is a fair weather Blue Jays fan that's not really a Blue Jays fan, just suddenly has become a fan of this team because they live in Canada, and you're bothered by that. And that's on you because you're bothered by something you can't control, Gallo. Let them be fair weather fans.
But I'm not bothered by the fair weather fans. I'm bothered by how obnoxious they are in the way that they talk to me.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this. Every single one of your friends that talk to you that way, if they were at the game last night, how old are your friends? Like 35, 40 years old?
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah,
sure,
they'd all wear a baseball glove. That's the kind of fans they are, okay? All those guys that are giving it to you, they'd go to the game and be like, make sure you bring your glove. That's all I'm saying.
Right. But
sorry, if you're a grown man wearing a baseball glove,
I'm with you. We've been over this. Like the guy who caught the ball in the Springer jersey yesterday.
By the way, dude, you look like a knob because one, you're holding a baseball glove and you're a grown man at a baseball game. Probably should be a beer. And two, you didn't catch it with your glove. You caught it with your bare hand. Just proves my point. You can catch balls without a glove. He caught it with his other hand.
Yeah.
So you brought the glove for nothing. Anyways. Sorry, that's me sounding off.
That's okay. You sound off all you want, Campbell. I mean, your name is in the title of the show as well.
I'm just saying, all those people that are bothering you and poking you, they all would go to the game with a glove.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe. If you want to call them out, I'm good with it because of how they've been ticking me off. But, Campbell, let me tell you, all of that is secondary to the two things I want to mention here. And I don't even know which of the two things I want to mention first. I'm going to go with the honest... If I can look within and tell you how I truly feel about this run. And I feel this part, and also the second part of what I'm going to talk about here, many people are going to be able to relate to it, especially if they are my age or if they are from Montreal. Now, you talk about Canada's team, and you want to talk about fans in Alberta or fans elsewhere in Toronto, outside of the GTA, or even fans in British Columbia, who I think are split anyways, especially when they're playing the Mariners. If you want to talk about all those fans, that's one thing. I am going to talk to a Montreal fan base that is my age or older when I talk a little bit about the two things that I want to talk about. Number one, Campbell, if I look within, I think my biggest issue with this Blue Jays team and this run that they're on is jealousy. I'll admit it. I'm jealous that Toronto has something that we don't. I'm jealous that Toronto has something that we had. I'm jealous that people in Toronto are happy about their baseball team going to the World Series because we had a baseball team, and in my lifetime, I never even got to see them play in the postseason. Campbell, usually, jealousy is a nasty, terrible emotion. But if I am going to be honest, it is an emotion that I was feeling yesterday, and I'm still feeling today. And for that, I apologize. And if people don't have that emotion in them, that's cool. Cheer for the Blue Jays. I'm having trouble doing it. I want to like this team. Campbell, you know how much I love baseball. Growing up, baseball was the sport that I was best at. Playing amateur baseball. I've played ball my whole life. I love the sport. And for somebody that loves the sport, I can look at last night's game and tell you it is one of the greatest playoff baseball games of all time. It is one of the greatest Game 7s in all of sports. It was dramatic. It went back and forth. It kept you on the edge of your seat. The lead changed, and you had a great, great moment with the Springer home run. You had all of that. So as a baseball fan, I want to like this team. I want to cheer on the Blue Jays. I want to jump on the bandwagon. But as a Montrealer who has a ton of jealousy, I'm having a lot of trouble doing it today. Then you put into the fact that, I have people on my back about the fact that I doubted this team when they also doubted this team. It also plays into it. And then I want to tell you the other thing, Campbell. I'm sorry for going on a couple tangents here. And you can tell me if my feelings are justified with the jealousy, or you can tell me if my feelings are justified with the next thing I'm going to say.
Well, I'm before the next thing you say, I'm just proud of you for acknowledging your jealousy, because I have not called it out throughout this playoff run. And I know that's where it stemmed from. I know, because I've been poked. Now because
you asked me in the past, you're like, why are you good with the Raptors and you're not good with the Blue Jays?
Yeah.
I don't have a jealousy for the Raptors.
I was going to call you out about jealousy, but you've done it on your own, because you are clearly jealous of the Blue Jays and Blue Jays fans.
I can look within.
Yeah.
I can look within, and I can admit jealousy is a big part of it. Now, the other thing, Campbell, is not about jealousy, but I'll tell you this. I was watching all the post-game coverage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way the people in Toronto covering the series were talking about the Blue Jays made me want to vomit in my mouth. I'm talking about people who work for this company that aren't even part of the shareholders or the owners of the team. They're not even part of the other media company. Like the way they're talking to the players. Campbell, like I was watching an interview. Somebody was interviewing Alejandro Kirk. We're so proud of you. Thank you so much for what you've done for our country. What? And then it's the Torontofication of everything that drives me nuts about it, because then you're going to tell me that I can take you seriously when I'm watching coverage of Montreal Canadiens versus Toronto Maple Leafs when I just saw you giving Alejandro Kirk a massage after the game? You know what I'm getting at here? Like, just the way they're being cheerleaders in Toronto is making me annoyed, because I can't take you seriously when you start covering the hockey games that feature the Montreal Canadiens, because I'm just going to assume that you're cheering on the Toronto Maple Leafs too, because of how much you're cheering on the Toronto Blue Jays when you're interviewing the players and talking about this trip to the World Series. Am I off base for thinking that and feeling that Toronto, I'm having trouble cheering for that team just because it feels like they are now proclaiming that they're Canada's team in the center of the universe and they're acting like it in that city? I'm not talking about anybody outside the city. And I know I'm going off on a bit of a rant this morning, Campbell, but it's how I feel. I just want to talk about it. Those are the reasons why I'm having trouble cheering for the Blue Jays. And I feel a lot of Montrealers that are our age agree with me. Now, if you're younger, maybe you don't. If you're listening from the Maritimes, maybe you don't. If you're listening from out west, maybe you don't. And if you're listening from Ontario, it's very unlikely that you agree with me. But if you are a Montrealer, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about this morning.
But what a moment.
1-0 pitch. Swing and a fly ball. Left field and deep. Rosarena turns. Gone! A Springer dinger. 4-3 Blue Jays in the bottom of the seventh.
Top of the order for the Blue Jays. George Springer at the plate.
He's in a position to tie the game up and possibly send this Blue Jays crowd into a frenzy.
High fly ball. Left field. Rosarena watches it go. George Springer has his Jose Bautista moment. This one deeper into the playoffs. This one could send him to the World Series.
I set him a little short. It's beyond frenzy here.
Or maybe my favorite one is the one without. Have you heard the one without any commentary?
No, I haven't.
This is the entire Springer at bat.
Full count, 2 outs, top of the ninth. Game 7 of the ALCS. Hoffman's payoff pitch. He got him! The Blue Jays win the pennant! The Blue Jays win the pennant! They're going to the World Series! It's so good, we must be dreaming! The Toronto Blue Jays come back, knock off the Mariners, and they will take on the LA Dodgers!
I know that bothered you. We must be dreaming. I know that's exactly what you're talking about, Mitch.
Campbell, I'll tell you this. I feel so much better after getting that off my chest, and I feel even better. I have the text message board open right now, and from that, can we call it a rant? Should we call it a rant? I don't know. A rant seems to have a negative connotation to it. Whatever you want to call it.
There was some honesty in there.
The monologue that I went on, whatever you want to call it. The text message board is as lively as it's been in months here at 11-690. And Campbell, I feel so good at everybody from Montreal that has my back on this one. You should see. I don't even know if I have to throw out a hot topic. I can just say, react to my rant, and I have at least 40 messages here that have come in the last minute saying how people agree with how I feel. Now, there's some people that are saying, the Blue Jays win, whatever. Yeah, and you could cheer for the Blue Jays. Like I said, you're probably either not from Montreal or you're of a certain demographic because that's different than mine, or maybe you just feel differently about it. Maybe you're caught up. Maybe you're brainwashed by the other network that tries to shove the Blue Jays down our throat. But so many people agree with me this morning, Campbell, and it's almost like a therapy session, seeing everybody that feels the way I do, so I don't have to feel like I'm on an island by myself, because at times it feels that way going against the Blue Jays. And Campbell, after I went on that rant and voiced how I feel, I want to know how you feel about all this, because I know you also don't like Toronto. I know you also have a hard time cheering for a Toronto team, but I also realize you've been much less vocal about it than me. So I don't know if it's the politician in you. You don't want to take sides. You don't want to trigger the people that are cheering for the Blue Jays. You kind of just want to play it down the middle. But I want to know how you truly feel in your soul, in your heart this morning.
Well, go check out my tweet the moment the game was over. Dodgers in 4, baby. Let's go. That's how I feel. I don't have this raging jealousy that you have.
I don't want to call it raging.
Well, no, it was pretty raging. It was pretty raging. I'll tell you, you walked in, a couple minutes late, sat down. I said, "How you doing, Mitch?" I was alone in studio for about 5 minutes. You were still pacing.
I wasn't late, by the way. I was here in the building.
You were pacing back and forth, waiting for the red light to go on so you could go off on this tangent. All right, but I'll tell you, I don't cheer for the Blue Jays. And it's funny. I'm watching the game last night. I played hockey. I got home. I told my son I'd watch the end of it. My son, 13 years old, Blue Jays fan. He likes baseball. He's been to a Blue Jays game. He was cheering for the Blue Jays. Brought my girlfriend to a Blue Jays game for the first time. She's like, this is amazing. I love the stadium. I want to go to more baseball games. I'm into this. So she's a Blue Jays fan. We're all watching together. They're excited. They're living and dying by every pitch. I'm living and dying by drama of Game 7. I have no affinity towards the Blue Jays whatsoever. None. Not to the point, because I think that your, I'll say, raging jealousy is the mix of the Expos and jealousy, and that you're a Yankees fan. And like you said, most Yankees fans, it's Red Sox or nothing, but you're a Yankees fan in Montreal next to Toronto, and there's players on there that bother you, like former Houston Astros that hit 3-run run shots last night. So I think that that's that difference. I don't have that jealousy. I'm not a jealous type of person. Am I happy that some people I know were enjoying it? I thought it was an awesome moment. I cheered for that moment. And last night, Mitch, how do I feel? How do I feel? What's one thing that I always tell you that I like to be more than anything in the world? Is right. I love being right. Let's take a look over at the TSN Master Trade Bait board. Who's the only person left up there with the winner and finalist available? Everybody else has at least one team knocked off. I'm the only one that has Dodgers and Blue Jays in the World Series. I love being right. Mm-hmm. So I was somewhat cheering for the Blue Jays last night. I want these fans that felt like they felt yesterday. And I want it all taken away by Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. That's what I want. I want them to feel like they are going to go and do something special, and it's all taken away. That's what I cheer for. Is it jealousy? No. Is it vengeful towards Toronto? Yeah, maybe. And as for your secondary about the coverage, I really don't care about how other coverages are. I can change the channel, I can put it on mute, and I can just listen to the interviews. I get what you're saying, but I don't let coverage, like media coverage, really bother me to the point that makes me want to hate them.
Right.
So your two things, that your jealousy, because as a former Expos fan and not being able to live it and seeing those guys enjoy it, I don't have that. And the coverage, that stuff has never bothered me. I know what you're talking about. You're not lying about it. And Thank you for doing what you did for us.
We're proud of you. We're proud of you. Get out of here.
That's a little much for me. And, we're watching it. And it's funny. They goes to the panel between the intermissions. And I'm just like shaking. And I'm talking to my son's like laughing because of what I was saying. And I'm just like, it's a 3-person panel for 30 seconds, and they all just like, it's cheer, cheer, cheer. And I'm like, can't you analyze anything instead of cheer, cheer, cheer? Like, I like analysis. Mm-hmm. I don't need the tire pumping.
You don't need the pom-poms.
No, but it's fine. But I know what it is. I understand it. That company owns the team. That company owns that panel. They're going to do one thing.
I'm talking about the company that doesn't own the team.
No,
too,
I know.
Right.
It trickles past it. We don't need to blame one, because it's everybody coming out of there, and then you get to the angle that outside of Toronto.
We're so proud of you.
The Toronto-centric, which not only Montreal feels, the West. You go out west. I travel across this country, and be any sports network, they all call it the Toronto Sports Network.
Right. So
Like,
that's why I don't understand how
but
those
it's the-
people that call it the Toronto Sports Network can then turn around and cheer for the Toronto team that everybody in
Yeah.
Toronto's cheering for. It's
Because
just it's hard for me.
It's the opportunity, because you're not calling it a Toronto's team. At that point, you're calling it Canada's team.
Which brings us back to the beginning of why I get upset when people call it Canada's team. That's
Yeah.
the whole reason why.
I get it. But I don't get it.
It comes full circle.
I'm just
here.
saying, I just don't get as riled up. Like, that's why you're asking me. And
I see on the text message board, Campbell, people are happy that Angry Gallo's back.
good.
It's been a while.
I just
It's
don't
been a while.
It doesn't rile me up like it
there
riles
hasn't
you
been
up.
a lot to be angry about lately. The Canadians are 5-2.
Like, I feel if the Blue Jays win the World Series and beat the Dodgers, which you have declared the greatest team of all time, starting the season. Don't worry, I'm exaggerating.
If the Blue Jays win the World Series, we are going to have to stop the show and we're going to have a State of the Union address where I tell everybody how wrong I was, how great the Blue Jays are, and the fact that they are in fact Canada's team.
You'd have to have a confession, yeah.
Campbell, I'll be surprised if this series lasts 6 games.
I told you, I already made my prediction.
Now, you have Shohei Ohtani as the MVP.
Yeah.
Which you might be right across the board after what he did in the final game of that series in the NLCS.
Yeah, so I am cheering, but like I'm telling you, I'm cheering for the Dodgers. I love Shohei Ohtani. I have no affinity for the Blue Jays. I just told you my prediction. We could give it later. I got Dodgers in 4. But honestly, if the Blue Jays win the World Series, it'll be a fun ride that I'm seeing the country go on, even though you don't like it. The whole country's going on this ride. Like it or not. It's going to be fun to watch because what's happening here is people that don't like baseball, and I love baseball. Mitch, you know, I go to Winnipeg, I watch a Winnipeg Gold Eyes game. I go to Edmonton, I watch a Edmonton Riverhawks game. And this is independent baseball league, and I'll pay my $5 beer and sit in the bleachers of a 3,000 stadium stand. I love baseball. So I love that this country, more people are going to be opening their eyes to a game that I love to play. I love to watch. The Blue Jays win, good for them. I'm not going to sit here with raging jealousy like you do, but you will have to call it Canada's team. I think if the Blue Jays win, you will have to come on the air and say it's Canada's team.
We'll have a State of the Union.
Okay.
We'll have a State of the Union here on Campbell versus Gallo. And what you're talking about there, Campbell, with everybody paying attention and getting into baseball right now, this is why I want to like the Blue Jays. I want to. I just can't. I want to so badly. Last year, the World Series featured the biggest market in the East versus the biggest market in the West, with the best player in the AL versus the best player in the NL. And in this country, almost nobody cared. Now, you have the Blue Jays versus the Dodgers, and it seems like everybody cares. I should like that. I should be happy about that. But I'm miserable today.